I don't know about everybody else, but I just got back from vacation yesterday, so I don't know what's going on. If somebody wants to tell me what's going on, that'll be awesome.
I don't have that excuse, and I still don't know what's going on.
Maybe you want to try present the
Yeah.
Sorry,
yeah, sure. You got it. All right. Okay.
What's this?
Yeah.
Today's the 3rd, not the 17th.
Yeah, interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, Mark Time just put that on.
Oh, because he wants to.
He wants to schedule a review.
Fine. I'll break it apart. And that was the 3rd. Okay.
Okay. We don't have any agenda for today, so I guess we're strictly an ad hoc agenda. And either this is going to be a very short meeting, or something interesting is going to come up.
Okay. What did we discuss last time?
Modeling the sidecar.
Anything else to discuss there?
So as discussed, probably, but I haven't caught up, and though I see there's a long thread for me to go and read up on.
Yeah.
But we did. Sriram and I did get together at KubeCon, hashed out, made updates to the doc, pinged everybody. I believe all the people who had expressed opinions seemed mostly satisfied with the outcome. Is that a fair statement, everybody? I know there's some.
We have the PR on GitHub and the
which I have not caught up on, so that's the thing.
Yeah.
But I will. That's once I'm done with my meetings today, I will try. That's where my focus is going to be.
Okay. Anything else on this one?
But it's generally trending in the right direction, is my understanding.
And sorry, what is the PR for exactly?
The API.
Is it the complete implementation, or is there more work to
do? And the implementation.
And the
yeah. And tests and everything.
Yes.
Wow. Well done. That's very nice.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. So we should probably take that one offline because we don't have any.
Yeah.
Well, we just have lots of detailed discussion on that at this point.
Okay.
That solution for 7665. Anybody want to provide?
Yeah, Nate. What do you want to? Do we have quorum here?
Which one is this again?
Let's see. Let's bring it up. Memory is definitely fuzzy.
You all know the issue numbers by heart?
That's SOS 3725 use like.
Okay, yeah, I've actually got a PR for this that's out. It doesn't exactly work because Envoy is doing some interesting things when I try to do retries.
Yeah, what did Piotr say about that?
We're still kind of discussing it. I actually did some work over the holiday and
Thank you, Nate.
and found a few things. I actually understand what Envoy is doing better. Whether or not it's doing the right thing is another question. But I think we can take that offline.
Okay. All right. Any ad hoc agenda?
So there's one more. Remember the issue about location-based load balancing thing? Not location-based load balance. Zonal routing.
Aware.
Yeah. And so there was I think it's still not that full-fledged, but there was a PR on the API where we would actually add that to the destination rule. And it's a bit crude, but if we have time, we could just simply go through that. Actually,
we probably don't want to review a PR in this meeting, but
no, No, the general idea being that like from location X to location Y, this much traffic needs to go in. So
Can you add a link to that, Sriram, here?
Yeah. Do we have? Is there a doc or is that just a PR in the API repo?
I think it was just a PR in the API repository, and that is.
Do you know who did it?
Um,
Well, I guess we'll see in a second.
I think, and I'm trying to locate the. Oh, okay. So I can.
So is this along the lines of kind of a matrix of locality weights?
It's not matrix though. It's like on a destination rule per destination rule, where like the idea being that at some point we can specify a top level destination rule that has this information embedded inside it, and this is the master branch. Sorry.
How the hell do I get? That comment went by. Whoop! Sorry, you guys don't need to see that or that. There we go.
And okay, so yeah, this
is Shroom, if you could actually just add the PR to this doc, that'd be the best. To the meeting notes. Or somebody who's got the PR handy.
Yep, this is the.
There we go.
That looks like it's checked in.
Yeah, the thing went in because I thought like that seemed to be the same thing that we discussed. So now I'm thinking like, maybe I missed out something else on this. I can't see it on the screen, but basically it's just saying that like from to, and which means you can specify a top level a global destination rule where this is set, and others would just simply inherit from this. But I think it still doesn't cover things like you want to have a fallback zone, or like this seems to imply it's always it's always a traffic split, but this is also based on the current Envoy code. So Envoy does not have the ability to do that fallback properly. It doesn't have that the whole thing in place. So what it can do is this, but it can't do something more like if zone 1 fails, then go to zone 2 and then to zone 3 or vice versa. So that is part of the thing that needs to be done in Envoy. I thought at least with this, people still will have the ability to specify 100 and 0. And then through some tooling, they can change the weights so that they can at least get some zonal routing they want.
Right, yeah.
But this is again, like, keep in mind, this is not evaluating the load on that zone and then setting. It's just like a manual override where I, as a user, for example, this was from Intuit and Atlassian folks who were there. Like, yeah, I as a user would specify like in 90% always stays in US and 10% can be sprayed, to here and there.
Gotcha. So this is basically like subsetting today, except the subset per region.
But except this happens even within a single subset, right? I mean, this is not same as version aware routing. This is just saying that, if I want, most probably you'll always be setting something like from region 1, zone 1 to region 1, zone 1, 100, and then the rest will all be 0. And in case of a scenario, you would set other regions to like a higher number. But that is still, that's the only way we have today, because Envoy does not have that notion of, it has it, but we don't have active health checking. We don't do like most of the other things that people do. So consequently, what happens is that we have to trigger things in Envoy to say you have to start going to a different zone now.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. We can always get this done with an outlier detection thing, but the mileage might vary.
And do we today have the Envoy AZ? Is that actually already pumped through? And it knows
the nice thing about this is that we don't need to set up the AZ in Envoy like what we used to do in the past, because this is all relative to a local Envoy. It is
Cool, but
short answer is yes. Today we actually, like, when Envoy connects, we talk to the API server, get the AZ associated with that Envoy, and then set this thing up properly. I don't know how this will work in your, within Google model / how you wanted to like to have this, but the way this works is that you can always override this, but it's still not the most optimal one.
under the covers, is this basically programming the Envoy locality weighted stuff?
Yes.
And presumably that stuff hasn't been implemented yet, would be my guess.
Oh, that is there. The locality. Oh, you mean in Envoy or in pilot?
In pilot.
In pilot, there is a PR PR that's out there to implement this. But yeah, once again, there are a whole bunch of issues, right? This has to be done with an EDS, and this also like kind of makes all caching painful, because you now have to start caching by shards of from region 1 you have a cache of EDS, for region 2 you have a different cache of EDS, because the weight settings would differ on a region by region basis.
Yeah.
It would have been great if that whole intelligence was in Envoy, such that it could automatically see and we can just apply this one time to all envoys. But the way it's been done is that there is no longer a notion of Envoy knowing I'm in region 1, so I'm actually going to try to do other regions. It basically has a bunch of locations with priorities, and it decides to route from the highest priority to lowest priority in a completely agnostic manner.
Yeah.
And this is all using the locality weighting features in Envoy and not using the zone aware features in Envoy. Is that right?
Yeah. Not using zone aware features at all.
And what's the rationale for not using the zone aware instead?
Zone aware requires that you start Envoy with the local zone. I mean, you have to tell Envoy what zone it is running in, and that basically means you take control over the Envoy, and when you start up Envoy, you specify your local zone, US West 1, and within Kubernetes at least that zone information is not actually available on every pod. When you start it up, you have to go talk to the service registry and get that information. I don't know how it works within Cloud Foundry.
It's totally available at start time in Cloud Foundry. So
yeah, so if you were to specify that, then because we till date we actually specify the zones for every endpoint. So if you were to start your envoys with the zone, then you would probably get some benefits automatically. But
yeah, the key is that has to be part of the bootstrap configuration that you can't overwrite later. That's the complexity.
Right. Routing. For this one, you don't have the complexity. For this one, it's it can just be any envoy setting on your laptop, and the way we would set this up is a hierarchical order of these endpoints have priority 0, and others have priority 1, 2, 3.
Why can't the Kubernetes pilot agent discover the zone and then bootstrap boot time?
It is an extra. There are several issues. One is it's an extra 50 to 60 MB overhead because of the Kubernetes client Go library. So that adds 60 MB for every sidecar.
Yep.
Necessarily. Second one being that until you query that information, you cannot start the sidecar. So which is also it increases the time to start up the sidecar.
Well, with the sidecar startup being hidden behind CNI stuff in the not too distant future, that's a little bit less of an issue.
Yes.
And you could have, so the pilot agent size ballooning is a big deal, but you could pretty easily just have the pilot agent call pilot, for instance, to
that seems like,
but the thing is, you pilot agent calls pilot, and pilot basically makes a call to the API server to get, given that endpoint IP, you have to wait for the whole thing to come back to the API server and then get that endpoint.
Right, the agent can cache that locally, right? Particularly with CNI, right? That would be very cacheable.
Yep, because that would be shared across the entire node, right?
Yes, that's certainly true. But so also keep in mind, zone-aware routing has some limitations. And so these two things are mutually exclusive. You cannot have locality weighted setting with zone-aware. The priority level failover and so on is only available in locality setting.
Is there some risk that by exposing the locality weighting stuff right now, if we end up enhancing pilot agent later to take advantage of zone aware, then we're sort of blocking ourselves from exposing that to users? We would have to turn off locality?
Yes and no. So what I'm saying is, if you do zone aware routing, then you have certain limitations. The newer API, the thing that is here is actually using the locality weighted load balancing thing in Envoy. And that thing is kept mutually exclusive from the zone aware routing, which is the legacy zone aware routing that Lyft had. And so the newer one has some features such as fallback to different priorities and a bunch of other things that the older one does not have. And so even if you try to turn on zone-aware routing in Envoy, you will end up losing more features than what you would gain.
Well, it's still by cluster, Sriram, right?
Yes, it is still by cluster. I mean, like, I don't know, I mean, Javi and so on, like the way they have done this, the whole thing was very biased towards the use cases in Square and a couple of other people. And so the whole thing just ended up in that direction. And it worked out to Javi's team's like goals, but it's completely messed up when it comes to the general purpose mesh on a Kubernetes or a CF cluster. So that part is there. I don't know how to like expose surface this. I mean, I do agree that we can actually do it a much more better job, but
I mean, the truth is with active health checking, right, you wouldn't really have Envoy do any of this, right? You would just assign it endpoints and do the weighting in Pilot.
that's the load assignment thing. Active health checking, this actually works because this will.
Yeah, I know this work well. This works with passive health checking, right?
The model that we have here, yes.
Do the responses to the active health checking include like enough region information for the client to discover whether the destination is in the same region?
So no, when the active health checking, when you actually code the endpoints in a cluster, you have to tell it what zones and regions those endpoints are.
Okay.
And the active health checking, all it does is that automatic. So instead of an outlier detection, which actually like first makes a request and then sees things have failed and retries and so on and so forth, active health checking is a little bit more faster in that it would like constantly keep the clusters updated, such that the moment there's a request that comes in, it goes to the right place, whether it's a local zone or remote zone, depending on the failover. But so I can actually show you here is
Are there plans in the Envoy?
The what?
Sorry, are there plans for Envoy to enhance the locality weighted stuff to include the priority things that are in the zone aware?
No. Locality has zone aware. Sorry, locality has a priority. The zone aware is the old one. That seems to be.
So zone aware is strictly hierarchical failover, right?
Right. Yeah, and I'm asking. That sounds like that's not present in the locality weighted.
It's not, right, because it's weighted.
Yeah.
Right.
So you'll still end up conforming to weights pretty statically.
Yes, zone aware actually has the ability to failover, and locality does not have the ability as a failover thing. But that's a small feature to add to the locality. Whereas if you have a lot more the backport from the locality into the zone aware thing.
Okay, and so is including the failover in the locality, is that a roadmap thing for Envoy?
That's a good question.
It probably should be.
Yeah.
I've been asking, and like if I can take that thing up after I finish this stuff. But yes, it's been on the list.
Hey, Sherm, I'll set up a meeting. I'll include you.
Yeah,
I'll be in a meeting with Harvey et al.
Yeah, we probably need to get some of the Envoy folks more involved in this discussion.
Yeah.
Zach, Liam, do you want to take a look at this stuff? I know you guys were poking around at load balancing.
Yep. Yeah, we'll definitely take a look.
Okay. And yeah, we can follow up offline about this. Yeah. I don't have any structural objections to this, right? This is a pass-through feature, but I'm just a little wary about the API surface.
Yeah, especially the inheritance and that stuff as well.
Well, yeah, we have some headaches with destination rule inheritance that we need to take a look at.
Oh, but if you fix the destination rule inheritance, it will just fall in place automatically, right? We can specify a global destination rule which has this. I mean, short of creating a separate CRD for locality aware routing, this would have.
We could just implement it with replace semantics rather than like the overlay.
Yeah.
That would at least be a simpler API to understand. Right, because like zones we have wildcards in here, so like overlaying destination rules with inheritance is a mess. Like I think we just want replace.
Yes, we want structural replace of that.
Yeah, we do have the replace semantics today. But I'm saying that like once we fix some more of the inheritance things, we can have the global rule. We already have the ability to inherit load balancer settings across all destination rules. I added that a while ago, so this would just fall in place.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have some discontinuity in inheritance behavior and destination rule across features.
Yes, that's what I was getting at. Yeah. And in general, we have discontinuity in inheritance across Istio because most things don't, period.
Right. Destination rule is one of the few that sort of does.
And this is one of those API consistency things that I think we need to tackle long term.
Yeah, it is. So Zach, when you take a look at that, have a think about that, and we'll chat about this offline.
Cool. Sounds good.
But thanks for pointing that out, Sridhar. That's actually really useful to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that is about, I guess, and when you take a look at the sidecar PR, pay close attention to the selector field. The selector field that you had was one which actually had, labels as a sub-object, so that you can actually have different types of selectors, not necessarily labels, but X509 certificate fields that you can actually provide, or so on and so forth.
Yeah, we wanted to get to the point in the
Right.
APIs where we had a consistent structure for selector, because we don't currently.
Yes, but Costin is not on board with that. He wants only the label selectors only. I mean, it's a long discussion that PR thread.
Okay, yeah. I mean, there's a distinction between what we have support for now and, like if you were able to do, say, expression-based selector types at some other future point, right? Other than just simple set merging.
Yeah,
I agree with Costin. We don't want to commit to anything more than labels.
Well, but we need things like X509 fields. Gabe has good use cases for that. Okay. We need identity-based subsetting, right? Like spiffy identity-based.
But the point is, we don't actually adding those features. You look at it, it's a very stupid argument in terms of like, a simple workload selector message. I mean, if you look at the PR, you would know.
All right, I'll go take a look at it.
Yeah, we should get that unblocked.
Yeah, I'll do what I can to help unblock that. Okay. Any other ad hoc?
Oh, and one final thing. What happens to the ports in the sidecar, this thing, when you don't when you specify a port on which you wanted the egress listener to be present? Does that automatically, I'm guessing that it automatically implies we only route traffic to the specific ports, the services, right? That map?
For egress?
Yes. Yeah, for egress, yes. Because if service has multiple ports, then you have to pick one of them, and you pick the one that matches the user specified port. And if there are multiple ports and none of them match, then we assume that the user would provide a virtual service to create that mapping.
Okay. Good question. One, it would depend on the protocol, right? If the listening port was a proxy protocol, that would not matter.
Yes.
But if it was a specific port, then yes, it would have to map to a specific service and port combination.
Yes, and or you have a virtual service that has a port-based match and so on.
Yeah. Okay, I'll take a look at that.
Sure. Can you link to that somehow, like either a part of the PR or
the what?
The port thing you were just describing sounds pretty relevant to something we're talking about on our side.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the port stuff is very, having dedicated port mappings is very useful for kind of creating virtual services locally in some sense, and also has benefits potentially for stateful set.
Yeah, that's why I was asking about this thing. Yep.
Okay. All right,
Sure, as Gabe asked, you're going to link us to more information about what the topic you're just mentioned?
Let's throw it in the meeting notes, actually, if we can.
Yes, please.
That would be great.
All right.
Oh, small administrative thing. Can we update the link in the calendar to be the actual meeting notes document? I think right now it's the drive.
Wait, what? No.
do I have it wrong?
In the document from the calendar.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. I think I have a bad invite then sitting around.
We're just trying to ditch you, Zach.
Yes, here it is. Recurring theme. Yep. No, I just verified. I had an old bunk invite laying around.
Shriram, is your whip PR for the sidecar, is that ready to test out? Like, could we give that a spin?
Yeah. It's passing all the tests, so you can. Cool. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, it's really timely. We're seeing how much memory each cluster takes up in the Envoy and really wanting to scope that down.
Yeah. It's a bridge everybody gets to cross. All right. Well, Happy New Year, everyone. I think we've plenty to...
Yeah, anything else going once, going twice?
Going a fifth time. I'm sure Sriram has something else.
No, that's
He's
it.
been busy. All right.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Bye.
Oh, very interesting.